What's up, everybody, and welcome back to week number 9 of stage 4 of the Quake Pro League. My name's Ketchup, and I'm with Flea today. Our next matchup is going to be another one in the Americas. It's going to be nosfa, and it's going to be Dramis. They're going head-to-head. We're going to start things off with Ruins of Sarnath. Haven't seen that map yet. Very excited for that one. But two players that I think they've got quite a bit of history with each other at this point in Quake Pro League. I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, last time they played was in the Stage 3 finals, and it was Dramis to take his opponent out 2-1. And that is just one of the many games that they've had going up against each other, because Dramis and nosfa, they're kind of two of those players that have been... They're kind of like definitely on the edge of the top 5 or firmly within it, depending on how you look at it. But it's a struggle for the both of them. They like consistently lose against the very best, but then they frequently beat the ones that are ranked below them. So it's a constant struggle between them to see which one of them really just has that leg up over the other.
It's this game of just trying to be the first one that almost ascends. Like, you know, if we're looking at, I know that with these kind of players, we used to put Chain in a very similar category. And now Chain has kind of inched up into that next level. And we've seen that at some finals performances, now some online performances as well. And Chain's kind of broken away from that, whereas nosfa and Dramis are definitely two players that are still kind of within that realm, even though they're so close to being able to do that same thing. Hasn't felt like they've quite been able to do it yet. But with both these players, they have a similar style. They can both be incredibly aggressive. nosfa, quite the flashy player for sure. And Dramis just has phenomenally good execution. Really loves those movement-based champions. Loves a good crouch slide. And I think some of these champion picks are another kind of extension of that, but kind of in both directions. Because our first map, Ruins of Sarnath, where it's going to be the Slash versus the Sorlag, but this time it's actually nosfa having the Slash, not Dramis. And then it's Nyx versus Visor on the Blood Covenant. And then we're going to see Molten Falls for the first time today. Ranger versus Strog. Again, Strog going to nosfa, not Dramis.
Very interesting outcome indeed, because Dramis is widely considered to be one of the greatest crouch sliders in the entirety of the Quake Pro League scene. So nosfa picking those instead, I don't know if he was just like, if I can't block them, I'm just going to pick them myself to deny them, or if he's just really confident in his own abilities playing crouch sliding champions, because Dramis has been looking pretty good stage 4 online. He's only lost to Rafa and the Hang so far, so clearly nosfa might want to try anything just to throw a wrench in that wheel. So first one, Ruins of Sarnath, Sorlag versus Slash. Second map will be Blood Covenant, where we see Nyx going up against Visor. Nyx being played by Dramis. Again, very standard meta picks for this map as well. And then finally, it will be Molten Falls, as you mentioned, Ranger versus the Strog. So quite a few mobile champions this time around, but notable, of course, both crouch sliders going to nosfa rather than Dramis.
So we're loading into Ruins of Sarnath now. Just want to thank everyone for joining us so far. And remember, get involved in social media if you want. Use the hashtag QuakeProLeague and let us know which player you want to win. Let me know in Twitch chat. We're now loading up. 8 seconds left of the warm-up. It's going to be nosfa and Dramis. I do think if I were to go predictions here, I think I would favor Dramis, but I think a 2-1. I think we could very much have a close set of maps right here.
Oh, absolutely. I am expecting, indeed, quite the battle, quite the brawl between these two. Neither player I'm really seeing as the one to just completely overwhelm his opponent. Dramis, of course, had the better track record so far. nosfa caught out in a really bad spot right there. After taking those first 2 rails, he really didn't have anywhere to go. And so he just tried backing up onto the bounce pad, but that makes you a very easy target, and Dramis not going to miss that shot.
And that's just a nice little combo there. Dramis knowing that he has the ability, that's a good rail too. Knowing that if he hits that opening rail, we can combo it into Acid Spit. They're very high-risk plays. Dramis is a bit of a risk taker in that regard. If he missed that shot, nosfa might have even got him, to be honest. But he didn't. He got that perfect execution. I've said before, like Dramis, he has good aim, he has good movement. It's what he's kind of famous for, really, in the Americas, I think, is both of those combined. Very similar to a Tox, actually, in that regard, but... Ooh, opening rail. nosfa, going to get some damage. But with the 2-0, Dramis, now the one that's dictating the pace of the map. He's going to get the heavy. And that alone means he can fight, especially with this Acid Spit once again ready to go. nosfa, good position to pepper out a ton of LG damage. And it looks like at this rate, he might be able to take him out. Dramis, completely out of armor, but he gets the rail anyway. No way. He's able to get that.
That should have absolutely been nosfa's frag right there. Dramis was so slow to switch off the rockets, continuously going for those uphill shots where your opponent's got the high ground and a much more defendable position. And again, Dramis, he's just luffing the rocket into rail combo. But really, that previous engagement should have been nosfa's through and through. Dramis, just onto the chase. He knows that nosfa's in a bad spot right there. The crouch slide makes you such a small target that you can basically duck behind that little bit of cover and escape. Dramis, of course, now knowing that nosfa is really low and is leaving up the Mega. nosfa has an opportunity to steal one of the major items, but it doesn't look like he'll be going for it. Playing a really passive game.
Another shot. Wait a minute, can he reach health? He can. Okay, stop the bleeding. But knowing that you stop the bleeding, there's a fair idea of where nosfa's going to be. Dramis. Some of these fights can be quite high risk with these close range rails, but it doesn't matter. He's able to hit the shot every single time. It's the confidence of Dramis. A very flashy player in his own right. It is big risk and big reward, but only the reward comes to light if the risk pays off every single time. Looking for another one. Shuts down the effectiveness of that Mega. May as well have not had it at this point, as now Dramis has tons of ways to get back up to a normal stack. And it's nosfa licking his wounds at this stage, and the trap gets sprung. Hits a rail. Better than nothing, I guess, but the downtime in between shots seals his fate. Another one to go down. 6-0.
This is such an incredibly difficult situation for nosfa. We know that this map is a pain when you're a small champion, because when you get out of control, picking up those small armors leaves you so exposed, so open to damage. So it is widely considered to be one of the most difficult maps to play when you're a small champion, when you're out of control. And not only does nosfa have to deal with that, but he's going up against a Sorlag. We've got a light champion up against a heavy, which is a matchup you don't typically see. And it puts the light player at such a disadvantage, because the natural stack difference catch-up, it is enormous. Even if nosfa secures himself a heavy and a Mega, Dramis, with basically little more than starting stack, can rival that in a lot of these situations. Now nosfa, aggressive push with the rail, gets him on the board at long last, but he needs more.
Needs to really make it count. Trying to establish some pressure. He knows he's going to go into the acid, and somehow Dramis gets him, and the damage over time to tick it down. What did Dramis... I'm going to go check his... He had a starting machine gun. That's the only weapon he had. That's all he had, and he comes off better in that exchange. If that doesn't really speak the example that you just talked about more, I mean, surely nothing will.
I think the only thing nosfa could have done was continue pushing forward right there. The spit was behind him, and I think he picked up the bubble that negated it, but then by ducking back onto the stairs, he actually stepped into it once again. So pushing forward was the only thing he could have done. But of course, the stack disadvantage he's dealing with is proving to be perhaps a bit too punishing for the Brazilian player in this matchup.
He's done. See you later. Venomous is correct. And there's a mammoth amount of work for nosfa to do in this first map now. 8 frags to simply tie things up. 5 minutes to get it done with a starting stack as high as Sorlag's is. I mean, nosfa's going to have to pull off quite the miracle if he's going to make this comeback. Dramis has given him so much work to do and no time to get it done. Dramis continues to control. Checking out the items, by the way. Dramis taking 10 of the heavies. nosfa with 1 heavy to his name. Soon to be 11 at this rate. They've been pretty even on the Mega, but who cares about Mega when Dramis has this much armor? And no escape for nosfa.
The damage is actually surprisingly close. Despite all of the damage that Dramis is throwing out, nosfa is still only trailing behind by around 300 points of damage dealt. But as you pointed out, of course, it's all about the item pickups, and Dramis is just continuing this onslaught. The Reign of Terror. And he is leaving his opponent nothing to work with, because even when nosfa manages to steal away a Mega, what good does it do when Sorlag has such an enormous amount of stack and is mercilessly hounding you everywhere? Off the spawn again, Dramis! I think he's just looking for clips for his next frag movie catch up by now. This is brutal.
I mean, he's got 15 of them already. looking to get a little bit more. The control completely out of favor from nosfa, and it has been for essentially the entire map. The plasma trail can't even save his skin. This has to be one of, if not the most dominant map that we've seen Dramis play all stage, maybe even, dare I say, all Pro League. This has been such a crazy one-sided performance.
Dramis, 64% railgun accuracy, and he shot over 30 rails. That is brutal. You expect that kind of accuracy towards the beginning, when maybe you shoot 5 railgun shots or something like that. But Dramis has been using the rail as his primary weapon. He's done 400 damage with rockets, 700 with LG, and 1,500 with the railgun. So absolutely his weapon of choice. More than half of all the damage he's dealt this map has been with that one weapon alone, and it is working out so wonderfully for him.
And nosfa completely unable to really make his presence known every time one of these items spawns. Dramis just completely soaks it up and then just pushes in, goes in for the kill. Heavy has been taken. Now nosfa, he does get an item, but I mean, you know, we're talking as if he has a chance. There's no way you can come back from this deficit, this extreme of a score difference, this late in a map against a champion that's going to spawn with more stack than you, most likely. This is not going to happen. So from this point, I mean, Dramis, we just have to talk about the form that he's looking on today. If he continues this form, I mean, maybe even nervous for nosfa at this point. He gets a frag, but better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, but at this point, and this late into the game, what good will it do? Also, Dramis spawned next to LG, picked up his own rockets, and then just right onto the railgun. So within 10 seconds of spawning, he has all the major items back. That negates so much of an advantage that nosfa might have had after getting a frag like that just off the spawn. Rockets looking good, rail looking even better. A little bit more will do it, and the combos! I think we've got quite a few of our highlight reel already sorted out, Ketchup, just with what we're seeing from Dramis right now.
Well, I think at this point, Dramis' objective is going to be to try and break 20 frags on stream.
Yeah.
We're now 1 minute 10 seconds. He has time to get it done. Looks like he's going to open things up, and nosfa gets a ton of damage. And now with the 1 minute on the clock, I mean, all nosfa really has to do, or what he can do, I guess, is more accurate, is keep moving around, keep trying to get some good shots, keep that muscle memory, the execution, you know, make sure you're still hot, warmed up as we go into our next map, because this map is finished. Dramis with a one-sided experience here. And nosfa just did not exist on this map. Dramis had the stack, he had the control, every major shot counted. And really, nosfa, what even could he have done different with how things went here?
It's difficult to say, but it sure looks like he is starting to warm up himself. We're actually seeing him nearly get the same accuracy with the railgun that Dramis said. He's sitting around 55% right now. So nosfa, as you said, warming up the wrist, getting ready for that next map. It's far from over just yet, starting to hit some really nice shots of his own. But of course, this is all just preparation for what comes after. This map is beyond salvage, as it will be Dramis. Can he still get the 20th frag? Nope, he won't, but still 19-6. Couldn't wish for a more convincing victory.
I think Dramis would be happy with that. Even if he was looking for the 20 near the end, nosfa shutting it down, saying, no, I'm not going to let you do it. But the nature of when you can see these large champions, you know, Sorlag still able to move around, it wasn't even close to nosfa being able to use that crouch slide to run away or dodge Sorlag, because fresh off spawn, at that point, Dramis, he's already moved around so much that he's built up tons of speed and he can get straight on and fight on his own terms. And that's actually really important. I don't really think a single fight in that entire map happened when nosfa wanted it to. He would have to simply react to the situation and try and come out on top. But Dramis was the one that was really leading that charge. He was commanding the pace of things. When a fight happened, it's because he wanted to take the fight. That's why most of them went in his favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we mentioned it towards the beginning of the game, the stack advantage, going with a light champion up against a heavy. Light versus medium, okay. Medium versus heavy, sure. But light versus heavy, that's a full wave class in between these two champions that we just saw go head to head. And that matters so much. So the only thing that nosfa can really do in those situations is hit like an absolute monster, which when Dramis is hitting these kinds of back-to-back frag movie shots, unbelievable rails, great combos, rocket into rail time and time again, nosfa just never could get into the stride of things and actually deal the same kind of damage at the times that he needed. We pointed it out, the damage was at times still pretty close, but when your opponent has that much more stack than you do, getting it close isn't enough. You can't be like, okay, I'm just 200 points of damage behind him. No, you need to be a few hundred ahead of him at least to overcome that bonus stack that Sorlike has over you.
So we're going to have a change of pace as we go into Blood Covenant, the Visor versus the Nyx. This time, though, it is going to be Dramis rocking the Nyx. So there's going to be quite the emphasis on him making sure, I think, he continues that string of amazing accuracy that he was working with on Ruins. We always know that Nyx, she can be quite a high risk, high reward at sometimes. You know, if you're able to play around that Ghost Walk and neutralize it more often than not, you're kind of just left with a light champion that has a tiny stack and definitely isn't the fastest. She's going to have that wall jump, which works wonders on this map, but I think this is going to come down to really how nosfa is able to play around the way that Dramis is going to play this. Does he use the piercing sight immediately? Does he wait? We do see really almost two sides to Visor when Visor players go up against Nyx. Some of them use it for information, some use it exclusively to neutralize Ghost Walk, some kind of combine both. We'll see what kind of one nosfa's bringing to the table today, Flea.
Yeah, I mean, of course, a lot of people consider that the piercing sight is, of course, a direct hard counter to the Ghost Walk, right? You can see Nyx no matter where she is, even when she pops her own ability. But of course, doing so requires you to have your ability at the ready at the exact same time that she pops her invisibility, and that is a difficult thing to do, because the longer you hang on to your own ability, the easier it is for Nyx to just constantly zoom around the map and pick up all of those hourglasses to really, really deny you your own ability. So as you said, it's going to be interesting to see how nosfa tackles this. Could be a very good hard counter, but could also definitely lead to his detriment.
So with Dramis having one map up, remember everyone, if he wins this map, it's going to be a 2-0 and an early victory. We're going to go on to the third map as we always do, but I think this would be a win that Dramis can feel incredibly good about, because of all the players that are so close to essentially being able to do what Chain has been able to do and reach that next level. Dramis, I strongly believe, is the next player that is, I think, looking pretty close to it. Oh, that's a cute little trick. Love seeing it.
Fancy little nail gun jump combining the wall jump ability that Nyx has. Her gun coming out as well. nosfa so back. It's absolutely murderous. But nosfa finally manages to retaliate a bit with the lightning gun towards the end, but still he is pretty low. Looks like he's hanging on to the piercing side a fair bit, using it when the time is right.
Now, Dramis having to be pretty patient here. As you said, he did take a ton of opening damage, but now, with the heavy being in his favor, and it looks like he's trying to position himself, the aggressive Ghost Walk. nosfa had already used the piercing sights, he wasn't ready, but Dramis wasn't quite able to get there in time, as nosfa's in that position to fight back. A whole bunch of damage has been done. Can he hit the rail? Is nosfa even going to let him hit the rail? Tri-bolt, oh dear. Only 11 health. Dramis has to get out of there.
nosfa had an opportunity. But Dramis was dealing a good amount of damage in return, and look at how the tables have turned right now. nosfa, no way he's going to be challenging for heavy with that low of a stack, so he has to surrender it to Dramis. Luckily, he's got Mega to work with, so we're still seeing a pretty steady split in between the items. So far, all of the Megas have gone to nosfa, whereas all of the heavies have gone to Dramis, so perfect split. Neither player really getting the upper hand in such a convincing fashion that they can string it together into full control.
Well, a problem nosfa has had is that it's taken him 1 minute and 40 to get a railgun. He was able to just take it. A nice little bridge jump, actually. Being able to do it without having to use any self-damage. But now a fight's going to break out. He has got the rail, but is it going to cost him his life? Dramis, no! He misses the shot, and actually disaster struck there for nosfa. Hit the rail, and then right before he went down, he popped his piercing sight before the rail connected with him. Or the tri-bolt, sorry. So he's died, and he has no piercing sight on spawn.
And now things are starting to look a bit difficult for nosfa. Chasing down a frag lead when you're Nyx is a lot easier than doing the same when you're nosfa. Or when you're a Visor, because of course, one, you've got the mobility, and second, you can be so sneaky and surprising using aggressive Ghost Walks to your favor. nosfa, does he know? He does pop the ability a little bit late, and Dramis manages to indeed just sneak up on him and take him by surprise. nosfa already 2 frags down once again. This is not looking good for the Brazilian. Ketchup.
I'm also looking at that massive stack difference, and for another time, Dramis cycles the map to get control. He's had significantly more items. nosfa hasn't even taken a single heavy yet. Oh, Dramis can't get the rocket jump chase down. He's just run out of rockets. Definitely good fortune for nosfa. That would have, by all accounts, been a 3-0. Not even close. And he can't chase it down. Has given nosfa an opportunity to slow things down just a little bit. That rail. Bit of a tragic miss there for Dramis. nosfa lives to fight another day, but is he now going to finally go down? The rail doesn't hit. Dramis thinking, why won't you just go down, nosfa, please?
nosfa running a lot of the same routes all the way from rockets, and then he managed to secure those 2 small items for him. The rocket actually knocks him down. Such a bad position. Dramis fires slightly prematurely right there, giving nosfa a sliver, a tiny window to escape. Misses even the lined up shot with the piercing sight. nosfa has to start hitting those shots. He cannot make a comeback happen if he can't do that consistent damage. Railgun is so important on this larger map that is Blood Covenant. And if he can't rival the damage that his opponent is putting out, there's almost no chance of him successfully coming back.
And a nice little combo there from Dramis to finally seize that 3rd frag. Took him a couple of minutes to get it done, but in those 2 minutes, he maintained control. He maintained the lead all the same. It just took time that nosfa doesn't really have, because Dramis is just making this lead even bigger. And now with the heavy, more of this. Oh, a little bit of self-damage there as he tries to go back up on bridge. But Dramis, I mean, the real key here has been control more than anything. He's hitting the shots when he needs to, yes, but he's always on the items right as they spawn. He's always in position to get the items. Like right now, nosfa, he has been able to take a mega, but I'm confident that Dramis believes he can take this fight. He is taking a bunch of damage now, though, thanks to some misses. The Ghost Walk is ready to go, but he's patient. He's not going to pull the trigger on it yet.
Yeah, nosfa very clearly wanting to establish control, getting himself some of the items before just going on a wild goose chase trying to catch Dramis. Of course, he knows that his opponent has the Ghost Walk up as well, so Dramis still has that escape button. There we go, though. Good beautiful shot, yeah. Dramis probably wasn't anticipating the angle right there, hence why he hung on to that Ghost Walk. This might be the start of something for nosfa. Using the Ghost Walk quite proactively now, denying a lot of these hourglasses. There we go. Ability has been popped. Oh, wrong weapon right there. He wanted to rocket jump onto heavy, but switched to the railgun instead.
Oops.
Yeah, this isn't one of the Quake mods where you can actually railgun jump, unfortunately. So nosfa just losing out on the heavy because of that wrong weapon switch. That's a bit painful.
Gets some opening damage, but it's swiftly returned by Dramis. The Ghost Walk is down still. Can he get the final rail? No, misses the shot. Would have been a kill shot. And it would have been perfectly timed with the spawn of the Mega picking that one up. But it's just taken enough time for Dramis to get away. And now the Ghost Walk is ready to go. The piercing sight definitely is not. So if Dramis... definitely in the, I think, his favor when we consider just being able to use the ability mid-fight. Or escape, whatever the case might be for Dramis. He's already used it aggressively a couple of times to good reward. But now it's more time. nosfa definitely lost a little bit of sight over Dramis, I think, here. Might be sticking around waiting for the light. It has finally spawned, but it's taking a long time. Just for that one light, he's had to concede the Mega. And now as Dramis goes towards the heavy itself, a fight's going to happen. And actually, it looks like Dramis just looking to create some distance and some space. I do wonder, when is nosfa going to use this piercing sight? Ah, the counterplay. Right as it's used, the Ghost Walk goes in for the shotgun. Oh no, only 4 damage on the shotgun spread right there. Can't finish the job.
Oh, nice little wall jump right there from Dramis, expecting his opponent to be waiting with a good angle down through that LG hallway. So he used the wall jump to get himself that extra little bit of attitude, a bit of elevation to soar right clean over his opponent's field of view. And look at how quickly he got that Ghost Walk back up. So many hourglasses he must have been eating to get that up so quickly again. Now nosfa. He has time, but he really needs to start hitting more of these shots. This is an opportunity. There we go. Good. Aggressive push up the stairway, knowing that that makes him very difficult to hit with a rocket when you're standing on top of it. So the close quarter shotgun, definitely the right weapon to go with in that situation. Now he has 2 minutes for one frag. Entirely possible.
Now what he needs is ammo for that railgun. The rail's been opening quite a lot of these confrontations, but with only one shot, it's going to be a bit tricky. Uh-oh, Dramis, the opening shot. Oh, that one went right past. I think we all felt that one.
He didn't pick up extra railgun ammo, and that might be problematic later. Yeah. nosfa, too aggressive right there. He wasn't expecting Dramis to still stick around. He was hoping that Dramis would have just maneuvered through rockets onto the heavy instead, but Dramis was just waiting, biding his time, and caught nosfa on the rebound. But hang on, nosfa with the basic machine gun, taking down his opponent right there. Dramis overextending slightly right there, giving up a frag he did not need to surrender. nosfa's low though, getting pushed down from the LG, didn't see his opponent, and that tiny little bit of tickle of lightning gun has enough knockback to send him spiraling downwards. This is difficult for the Brazilian catch-up.
It's make or break for nosfa right now. A minute left on the clock. That rocket rail combo might have sealed his fate, because that's going to be a free pickup for Dramis, and now even more pressure established. Dramis having double the frags that nosfa has here. An opening rail just to knock him off his flow. Misses the pillar thanks to the rail shot, and that two-piece sequence has led to Dramis, I think, definitely taking this victory over nosfa. The second map was a lot more hard fought, but just started to fall apart by the very end. Dramis, again, the positioning, just knowing where nosfa's going to come around the corner. The aggressive ghost walk to surprise. Top down. Oh, just some finishing touches for what has been a very good map, but ultimately it's going to go in the favor of Dramis. Looking good, as always, and I think looking very solid in stage 4 for sure.
Absolutely proving that he can deliver with more than just his tried and tested crouch sliding champions. Dramis will get himself a nice 2-0 lead already, guaranteeing the win right there. But of course, there is still a final map that might allow nosfa to scrap together a few points. But very well played from Dramis. I think the use of the Ghost Walk was phenomenal, getting out of a lot of bad situations, but also catching nosfa by surprise a fair few times. nosfa tried to use the piercing side well to counter, actually doing so successfully a few times, but I felt like his aim just wasn't strong enough to punish some of the mistakes that Dramis made, or some of the positions that Dramis actually ended up giving up. And then there were a few just costly small misplays, like that one, the missed rocket jump where he went for the railgun instead, allowing his opponent to not only escape a bad spot, but also pick on heavy and put nosfa instead on the back foot. So quite a few things going wrong for the Brazilian player right there.
And better for Dramis. Dramis just looking a little bit sharper today. And now our final map, Molten Falls, I believe, is... Yeah, it's going to be our final map. And then at the same time, it's just the way Dramis has been playing. I think I really favor him here too. It's going to be the Ranger versus the Strog, so there is going to be a difference in kind of that immediate base mobility. And we have seen just how lethal crouch sliders can consistently be on Molten Falls. They are some of the more dangerous champions you can really pick on that map. But again, fights, accuracy, and damage, Dramis is going to have that thanks to the orb. And that's something I think we just can't really count out, even if nosfa has the better positioning thanks to his ability to kind of get around the map quicker. Is he going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Dramis's damage? And damage is something that Dramis is going to have more of. So I still think that I favor him going into this one. The 3-0 could be likely. I thought maybe a 2-1, but there seems to be quite a difference between the two players today. Dramis just looks... there's really nothing else to say. He just looks better today. Yeah, Dramis just hitting more shots, getting the better positions, usually almost always picking up more of the items as well. And nosfa just significantly more too.
Yeah, nosfa just trailing, trying to just to get his way into the map. Fortunately for him, struggling wasn't quite enough just yet. Molten Falls, as you said, a lot of opportunities, of course, for the Ranger to come out strong, but also quite a few nice spots to use the peeker. It's a very layered map, and of course what those layers mean is that there's a lot of places where you can very sneakily drop down, pop the peeker, send it right back up as your opponent tries to chase, and that can just help you out so much.
So it looks like I'm going to go for a quick lobby restart. So we will be in this final map in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for sticking with us so far. Remember, everyone, this is week number 9, stage 4, Quake Pro League. We've had many of these weeks, not just for the stage itself, but I mean the Pro League, right? Sorry, lost my train of thought there. I'm just getting back into this new lobby.
Yeah,
and,
same for
failing
me.
Failing to multitask today, apparently, is me. But we do appreciate everyone being patient. It's been a good series so far. Dramis with a pretty solid 2-0. That first map was absolute destruction. And then the second map, although it was definitely closer, definitely started to escape nosfa by the very end. Flea, do you think a 3-0 is more likely here?
I do think we're looking at another 3-0. Yeah, this would be the third one of the day. Actually, all of the games so far has led with one player getting a total of 0 map wins. And I would agree with you that it's more likely we're going to see another one of those. nosfa really has to reset big time if he wants to change things up and really make use of that added movement speed that he has. Yes, of course, his opponent has the orb, very explosive, a lot of mobility, but of course, there is that cooldown timer in effect. So he can maneuver around that. He is the faster champion. He has more mobility, better speed when using that crouch sliding Strog. So if he can make use of that to turn the tables and be the one to outposition his opponent this time around, I do think he has a chance, but that's a big but. And also, he needs to just keep landing the shots. Too many inconsistencies in his aim, both maps. Map 1, Dramis, as we said, was putting together a frag movie. You can't challenge that kind of aim. Dramis was just having a dream of a map. But map 2, that really had some opportunities for nosfa to shine when it came to the damage dealing department, and he just couldn't really live up to that.
So it looks like both players have readied up now. So we have the lobby back up and running. We're going to go in and finish things up on this third series. Just for a couple of other matches to come up, remember, as we now load into this third map, our next matchup, even after this one, is going to be Cooler versus CNZ. So if you're interested in that, definitely make sure you stick around. Make sure you're getting active on social media. Share the stream if you want to any Quake fans that might be interested in some upcoming matchups. I think Cooler versus CNZ is a matchup that I think a couple of people are keeping an eye on, just to see if CNZ is able to get some important map wins. It's quite an important day for him, especially after Tox falling 3-0 to Avec.
Yeah, indeed, Cooler hasn't been playing exceptionally well. For someone who put his name on the belt at one point, he definitely hasn't been living up to the hype and the expectations that a lot of people had of him. But of course, we have to keep in mind, these are the weekly online stages, right? Cooler is one of those players who gets a power level boost when it comes to LAN. And even if it's not going to be a real LAN, you know, it's close enough. It is the
people
finals.
Give him his energy.
Yeah, you know that Cooler is going to thrive in that kind of an environment. So I'm not too worried about him just yet, but this is a good way of gauging where both of these players are at as we load into the final map, nosfa versus Dramis on Molten Falls.
Thanks for being patient with us, everybody, and thanks to the players for getting back into this lobby in fast time frames. There was another sentence there somewhere, but that's just what came out. Anyway, nosfa and Dramis. We've touched on this matchup, the Ranger versus the Strog. I'm checking out things from Dramis' side first. And, I mean, ultimately, I feel like Dramis is going to play this game of trying to spring a trap. He has the rail. He knows that nosfa doesn't have the rail. And it looked like he spent a little bit of time actually maybe trying to bait him towards rail side, saying, you want this, take it. It's yours, it's right here.
Good awareness on nosfa's end, though. He definitely caught on to that LG on LG, that rail that might turn the tables. Out comes the peeker. Nice little flick to take it down. But you can definitely see both of these players are experienced. They know what's going down. Because the moment that Dramis started slowing things down, setting up that bit of a trap, waiting with the shotgun towards railgun, nosfa caught onto that instantly. The moment he heard, or rather noticed, the lack of noises coming anywhere from the map, he figured what was up. Excellent orb. Lot of damage coming out from Dramis. Survives with just 20 points of health, but still, first frag will be going to the American.
I've always felt that Dramis has had quite creative orb usage. We even saw in that first fight the timing of being able to take the heavy and then immediately teleport up top to where nosfa is to force the fight. Those kind of pieces of just being able to time down to the, the microsecond and stuff that will really, I think, carry you a long way. in this level of play. He's actually going to teleport as well. Dramis with the confidence. Hasn't actually been able to dish out much damage at all. That LG was actually the first bit of damage he was able to do in the fight, but he's taken a whole bunch of super shotgun damage, able to repay in kind with a rail. And nosfa, he was very close to making that a 1-1. Dramis, perfect timing to get the heavy at the same time.
I think that right now we are going to see nosfa getting pushed back. Luckily for him, making it into the window rather than out of the map, into the fiery depths of Molten. But what I was about to say is that nosfa, I think, is catching on to how Dramis will be using the orb. Dramis is full aggression with the orb. Quick little rocket coming out before the orb can even connect. Good play from nosfa. But you very often see people either use the orb to escape. They use it to try and fake their opponent out by throwing it just as a distraction, then never popping the ability a second time. But I think that is becoming clear to nosfa. Dramis has been all about the aggressive orb play, so he's going to be ready, increasingly ready, so whenever Dramis is going for another one of these pushes.
Having to play very respectfully. He tries to go in for a ledge grab, misses the rail. Again, it's that inconsistency that you talked about, Flea, where nosfa, he's had opportunities to finish it, and he can't quite. And in this turn of events, he is now the one that's on the back foot as Dramis pushes his way forward. He's going to be able to take the heavy as well, leaving it up because he knows he's going to try and beat him towards the mega. nosfa losing out on what's definitely going to be both of these items. Dramis knowing that the heavy is up and just allows it to stay so he can beat nosfa to it and keep him even more behind. It's these kind of plays that really pushes Dramis ahead.
Also, props to Dramis for that orb into the teleporter earlier. Here we go, once again, the aggression LG is all it took to finish that one off. But I really liked how Dramis used the orb to get into that teleporter earlier, because he knew that doing so would give him the better position. Staying down at railgun, that's not where you want to be, but just orbing right on past, not even going with the damage, you know there's only one way that your opponent can get to you, and that's through the teleporter. So if you've got a lock on that with the rockets, even with a stack disadvantage, you're in a really nice spot. And here we go. The rocket jump, of course, taking very little self-damage due to that ranger passive ability. Dramis starting to pick up steam. nosfa has to plant his feet firmly to make a comeback happen.
And this distance might become a lot greater as we go later on in this map. Dramis. We've touched on nosfa's aim being a little bit inconsistent. These kill shots of rails that need to hit. That Dramis is not even coming close to having the same level of trouble. That is going to be kamikaze, some big damage. But, I mean, now at last, nosfa has an opportunity. Dramis is actually still trying to make his presence known. It's quite risky to stick around here. There's no armor in sight. nosfa is pushing out.
Sneaky little trap from Dramis. I think even if nosfa had rounded the corner right there, it still would have gone in his favor. The LG is good. That is, of course, the downside when you start off with a railgun shot against someone as fast as a Strog. Yes, you land the opening 90 burst of damage, but by the time you switch to a different weapon, they're on to you. They have closed the distance and are right in your face with a lightning gun, so risky play from Dramis. I love that one, though. He's so aggressive with these orbs. Rockets for days, and nosfa, even after picking up the mega health, will drop another frag. This is really impressive from Dramis.
The setup to all that was the push through as well. The orb being used to kind of relocate where nosfa pushes forward and Dramis stays where he is, in turn putting him in a better position to actually get damage on the mega. Dramis is playing an insane level at the moment, and nosfa's just having a hard time really getting around it. And Dramis hasn't even been the constant one in control. He's actually rarely been the one that's had a bigger stack either. Somehow he's able to really turn the favor. Their damage is 30 points short of being completely dead even, by the way. This should be a frag. Dramis, surely he can't survive this one. He's going to have to concede. And nosfa pushes in. Big aggressiveness, finally manages to secure one. That's a frag that you definitely need. Shut that one down. Right as the mega spawns, he's in a good position for it. Tries to push out and get some free damage. Gets one rail on Dramis. And that's the benefit of the crouch slide movement, being able to just set up those rail angles.
That was indeed the right kill at the right time for nosfa. The orb, Dramis, for the first time, not actually going to use it, as nosfa corners him brutally with the rockets. Still, though, the Brazilian player's aim cause for concern.
And caught in a terrible time, right as Dramis gets the LG spawn.
Yeah.
The drop down and the damage.
nosfa was only hitting around 25% railgun, which on a map this size, rail is a really important weapon that you have to make good use of just to whittle away at your opponent's stack. Again, Dramis getting around the corner first, setting up with the LG. nosfa has the better stack though. Out comes the peeker! Oh, nosfa got lucky that his opponent run out of LG right there, because he was completely confused coming out of the peeker, and he would not have been able to track his opponent fast enough if Dramis could have ran that one out just the other way.
Now, we've been talking about the inconsistencies with nosfa, but we can't forget that he's actually only one frag in between. Like, this victory is absolutely possible, and he does get an opening rail to start things off. Has to be very careful with how he pushes this one. And he is forced to redirect the peeker. He just can't afford him. If he teleported to that, there's a good chance Dramis might have even been able to do it. It depends on timing, but no armor is going to be quite the problem for nosfa. He has to get in and out. The rail to open things is going to completely nullify the Mega, and Dramis with the light in hand. Even with that light armor, nosfa, I mean, he has to get out of there, and he knows it. But it looks like Dramis is looking to head him off, beat him towards heavy. And nosfa knows he cannot challenge for it. Too much of a risk.
Indeed, good plays from Dramis. He doesn't want to take any too great of a risk right now, but he still manifests himself typically around the center area of the map, so he can drop down to Mega and Rockets if he needs, just like that, just to do that railgun damage. And that has been his saving grace. 52% rail so far, and it's working out so well for him that he knows he's doing so much damage that nosfa can't even contest for any of the major items, so that allows him to pick up heavy, Mega, heavy once again, although it looks like he will delay it in favor of seeking out a bit more damage first. Look at that, not making any noise whatsoever, just trying to go for a trap, knowing that even though there's just 1 minute left, he's got such a stack advantage that he should be able to take a fight confidently.
Dramis knows where nosfa is, though. He knows he's likely to sit there and listen out for it. Hesitates before going around the corner. Oh, that rocket! 100 damage, just like that. Less than a minute on the clock. Now, this is a make or break minute for nosfa. He needs to be able to find him. He needs to get that chase, that one frag, bring us into that sudden death, or maybe even better, get another good frag off the spawn or something. But Dramis, the surprise has sprung. Can he get it? The defensive rockets are too strong.
Oh, you heard the rail right there. The missed rail. nosfa had an angle, it seemed like, but couldn't quite follow through.
But now he only has 10 seconds to find him. Dramis has the armor. He's on top! Oh, cheeky Dramis. You think he's gonna run? And he says, nah, surprise.
Oh,
GG's
man.
coming in.
That was an incredibly just gutsy play from Dramis. When he dropped down, close quarter railgun into the orb. Like, if he had missed that railgun shot and nosfa had pummeled him first with a big rocket straight to the face, that could have really easily still gotten the favor of the Brazilian. But Dramis, sometimes you just feel the confidence, you feel the aim, and he just went for it, shutting that down at the last second. He could have run, but still dropping down, going aggressive, paid off for him in the end. Well played, Dramis, and that will mark another 3-0.
What can you really say about that apart from well played? It's been a pretty dominant day today. I think it's just been pretty one-sided all round. I know some of these maps were definitely closer, especially that final one. But just at the end of the day, it's going to be Dramis just coming out on top again. And really, I mean, accuracy and execution, that's one of the biggest things that Dramis is kind of famous for at this point, especially in the Americas, that he's got that crazy good movement. He has fantastic aim. He can put the two together. These players in Pro League, they make it look easy, but this kind of stuff certainly is not when you're able to go this fast and hit those kind of rails. Definitely easier said than done, but Dramis looking in pretty damn good form, if I do say so, going into Stage 4 finals. We only have one more week of these, and then it's game time.
I mean, it's when we discussed a bit of statistics before getting into this map, I pointed out that Dramis has only lost to Rafa and the Hang in the entirety of stage 4. And Rafa and the Hang, the Liquid Boys, they are basically the indisputable number 1 and number 2 of NA. They're the guys to beat if you want to be the top of that continent. So for Dramis to lose against those players, not that big of a surprise, but the fact that he's holding his own against pretty much everyone else on the American side of the league, that's saying a lot. Now, of course, he still has a big challenge coming up next week when he's going up against Chain, another player who has improved leaps and bounds since the start of the Quake Pro League. But Dramis indeed looking very solid, whereas nosfa, I think he has a few things to rethink. He started off in the Quake Pro League basically exactly a year ago, really strong, came out swinging, taking down top players left and right, but ever since he just hasn't been able to hit that same level of play.
Well, we're only a couple of weeks from finding out how those events are going to unfold, aren't we? Now, It's been a day of interviews, and would you believe it, we've got another one, with Freya, no less. So we're going to go for another break, set up our next matchup. It's going to be Cooler versus CNZ as our next fight. This is Week 9, Stage 4, Quake Pro League. See you soon.